Yeah, it's good evening over in the UK. We've had quite a bad day. We're nearly past those trees. So tonight I am imaging the Seagull Nebula, and as usual I'm live stacking it. So this is a single exposure, 10 minutes, and this is a stacked exposure of 8 10-minute exposures, so 1 hour 20. And then I'm doing something different. It's not worked out quite well. This is my second rig. This horrible thing here is some tops of some trees and bushes in my garden. I'm actually going asteroid hunting, so I've told my telescope to go to this asteroid's location. It's magnitude 15, so it's going to be quite dim, but I'm hoping once these trees are out of the way, I'm just going to take, say, 10 60-second exposures, and I'm going to blink test them and see if I can see the asteroid. It might be too far. This is only 200 millimeters, so we're not very close. Let's wait for those trees to come out of the way first, though. It's 20 past 11 at night in the UK. I'm not sure how many people will be up, but it's a clear night till at least 3 or 4. So things are looking good. And it's a Saturday, no work tomorrow. You imaged the big bird last week yourself. Excellent. It's I'm going to say it's the first time I've imaged it, because when I imaged it, I think it was in 2019. I used I think it's a Sigma lens and a camera. It wasn't a very good result. I think I was just messing around that evening when I've looked back to the subs. So yeah, looking good. I need to capture some of the other channels though. I want to get as much HA as I can in tonight. We're nearly clear. In fact, we could probably capture. Give this one another 5 minutes, and then I'm going to see if we can find this asteroid. Yeah, yeah, it's I think in the framing. It's not called that, is it? I see. Oh, SH2296. Yeah, so my rotation's about 270. Yeah, it's sort of. I think I'm around about there. We've got most of it in. There's some nebulosity here that's going to be missing, but should get the majority of it in. And the rotation, even though I don't have a rotator and I don't manually rotate, it's sort of Just happens to be the angle that I was hoping to achieve, sort of off, looking like a bird in flight rather than it just being straight face on, so more luck than anything. Right, let's see if we can capture this asteroid. So what I'm going to do, reset those. Let's go for 120-second exposures. Don't really need to dither. And definitely don't want to slew to the target. Wear those grayed out. There we go. Can't be bothered filling in what it's called. So it's the first time I've ever tried this, so I'm not sure if I'm going to see anything. I could try with my ESPRIT afterwards, but I don't want to take it off the Seagull at the moment. Something. Oh no, we're all good. We're all good. One thing I found out this week, because I use the CGX mount, and if I want to use the inbuilt USB connection, I have to run this program called CPWI. So literally all I do in this is connect to the mount, set the time and date, and basically say, do a quick align, which just says I'm just going to put the mount to its own position and use plate solving. However, I found this. This is a new version that came out a few days ago. I can't believe this is one of the fixes in the software. Version 2.41. There's nothing in here about one of the bugs that I've seen fixed. But I'm on a closed forum called Team Celestron. And one of the forum posts in here talks about, in version 2.40, a bug fix for tracking issues. The CPWI was tracking too fast. How I have not had problems with that, I do not know. Well, this is the first night I've been running it, and my guiding, even though it's not the best, is certainly the best it's been this week or in the last couple of weeks. So if the mount was tracking too fast, then PhD2 will have been going overtime to make those corrections. So yeah, I'm quite pleased. I'm annoyed with Celestron for having that bug in for so long. At least it's fixed now, hopefully. In this sequence, we're doing 14 HA, which we've already done 10 of. No, the version I had 2.35 was the version with the tracking issue where it was tracking too fast. So the new version 2.4.1 fixes that, and I can certainly see an improvement on my guiding already based on my last 7 days worth of guiding. We should have had just another stack 60 seconds ago. Yes, we've got 9 images in the stack, so that's one single image unprocessed or unstacked, and that's now 9. My guiding's still way over what my best guiding's been, but it does explain why over the last few weeks I've been over 1. But my stars have still been round, but it was bugging me as if there was something definitely wrong. I'm intrigued to see what this gives. It'll probably give us nothing, to be honest. We'll blink test them and see what we get. We'll have to stop the live stack though. I wonder if we'll see this asteroid. I'm going to guess we're not. But something different to do. My plan for this one, which hasn't gone very well, is I was going to do the Witchhead Nebula. But I'm using a Sigma 70 to 200mm lens with my 2600. I'm getting some weird things. The good thing is I couldn't attach my guide camera as well because I just knocked the rig up today whilst I had nothing to do. We've had no power most of the day today due to some really bad storms. And I can't get my guide camera on. So I literally did a 10-minute exposure unguided earlier. This is on my AZG EQ6. It was spot on. I couldn't believe it. Like 10 minutes unguided. Maybe I should make my AZEQ6 my main mount. What length exposure I'm watching on laptop? It's hard for me to see. This is 600 seconds, so 10 minutes. There's no moon until 6:17 AM today. So the sky's quite dark. I'm in bottle 4. So I should get a decent set of nice data. Apologies, my ear is itching. How many exposures have we got so far? Back to asteroid hunting. 1, 2. I don't want to blink test it yet. I'm not sure how long. I don't even know what the speed, if there is such a thing as the speed of this asteroid I'm trying to track. I don't know how many subs I'm going to need to take with the elapsed time before we actually see anything. If we see anything at magnitude 15. If not, we'll up the exposures to 4 minutes. Try again. Does mean my teardown time tonight is going to be a bit longer. It's probably going to take me about 40-50 minutes to tear down, bringing 2 rigs in. So quick system check. Cooler power 21%. Chip temperature -10. On the correct filter. We don't need to worry about meridian because we're past the meridian. It's currently a warm 4 degrees. Humidity is quite low. and dew point at just above freezing. Temperature started off at a dizzy 8 degrees for January. That's it was actually 12 degrees earlier in the day. Albeit it's a good job. We had no electricity today for a period of time, and the entire village was without electricity for 12 hours. It literally went off at 10 a.m. and came back on at 10 p.m. We were affected for a couple of hours, but a lot of the village were out for 12 hours. But luckily it was about 12 degrees during the day, which is quite warm. Well, it's very warm for a January. Yeah, certainly not Australia type temperatures, but if it had been down at freezing or low temperatures, it would have been a different story. Hey Ollie, good to see you again. Thank you very much for joining. We're doing something different on my second rig. So I've got 2 rigs running tonight, which is, every time I set 2 up, I always say never again. And I nearly tore this down earlier. So I am asteroid hunting on this one. So I'm trying to see if this asteroid here, magnitude 15, it's southeast, it's just gone above some trees which are in my back garden, and I'm taking, I think I've got 30 2-minute subs. So I'm going to blink test them soon and see if we see this asteroid. I don't know if magnitude 15 is going to be too dim to see, because that rig has only got a 200mm Sigma lens on it. But something to do. I'm going to have to stop this live stack to do it. So this is a live stack of the Seagull. So far we've got 9 10-minute images, so 90 minutes, an hour and a half. Looking quite nice. I did manage to get, earlier on in the night, I got yet another session on the horse head, but I didn't live stream that because I've probably seen too much of that. So I got another 9 subs, another hour and a half on that. So still processing what that's going to come out like. Our measurement happening. The other thing I'm doing is on this one, you'll notice I'm running the latest beta version 2 of Nina. I don't mind running that on my second rig. So I've got plugins. Got the lovely Scope 3D option, which is it's a nice little thing. It just shows you where your scope is pointing. And it also lets me look at my outdoor camera. So you can do an RTSP stream directly into Nina. And I was going to have a play with the optimal exposure calculator, but I forgot. And I've just made the colour scheme green, so it's obvious that when I flick between the two, which one I'm on. Hey Lubo, good morning from China. OxyZ. Yeah, we've I think I mentioned in the previous streams that we've had some really good January nights so far. I don't if I was to total up all of my integration time, well in fact I can total up pretty much all of my integration time. And that's not including some of the stuff I took earlier. So yeah, more than happy. February will be an absolute disaster because it usually is. February's always rubbish. But glad to have got some decent nights, and it's clear till 3 or 4 a.m. So at least another 3.5, maybe 4 hours, although I haven't checked that recently. Quick check. Oh, that don't look too good. No, that doesn't look too good. And neither does that. And neither does that. Okay, it's dramatically changed since I last looked. We spoke too soon. Let me check the guide cam on here. That's my way for checking for clouds, is to look at the guide cam. We look alright at the moment. Let me check my phone. Those clouds were not expected. Could be the Met Office getting it wrong. Yeah, I'm still seeing clear skies on another app. One with satellite images on, so we should have added another image into that live stack. Yeah, we've got 10 in there now. Let me see what my asteroid hunting is going like. So anybody who's just joined, doing something different tonight. I was going to be trying to image the Witch's Head Nebula, but my second rig, you'll have seen the picture if you saw my comment. I just threw my 2600 together with my Sigma lens. I thought I'll dual run, but things haven't gone to plan. So what I'm currently doing is, there's a fantastic piece of software called Skytrack. I use it for, I did a video about using it to basically leapfrog the ISS. So that was its primary function, was to track satellites. So you could basically say slew to the ISS, but slew 10 seconds in front of it, and then the ISS would pass through the frame, and then it would slew ahead again and let the ISS pass through the frame. But the guys just enhanced it so much more, and we've got asteroids in here. So I've picked the brightest asteroid that's at the highest elevation I can see, which is this one. So it's magnitude 15, so quite dim. And that's what this screen's pointing at. So I'm taking 2-minute exposures, but it's at 200 millimeters only. But I'm going to blink test them soon, when we've got a few, to see if we can see an asteroid. I thought I'd do something different. Meanwhile, rig number 1 is on the Seagull. I think again, yeah, the Seagull doesn't get very high for me. You can see here it only gets to 25 degrees, which is right at the limit of what is visible from my garden. Anything below about, well, it could start to disappear down here, so I might only get another hour on it. If we start to see some strange aberrations in the bottom of the picture, that will be a very tall hedge at the end of my garden. But we'll see. I'm more excited about the asteroid at the moment, to be honest. And all it'll be is a small dot going across the screen, but yeah, it is impressive of how low it is, and the you can see here we're literally, what, if this is 25 degrees, this must be 23, 22 possibly, where we are now. Would be useful if that could tell you. It doesn't. Maybe it does in the new version. Let's have a quick look. No. At your parents' home farm, we have a bottle 4. Yes, it's. I mentioned it before. I'm very lucky to have a bottle 4 in my back garden. It gets to 64 degrees here. Wow. So that would be, let's have a look, somewhere up here. Yeah, way above the celestial equator. So anybody just joined, I've got, for my sins, 2 rigs out tonight. I've got my main rig, which I call my main rig, which is running my CGX with updated software, which fixed a tracking issue where the CGX would track too fast. And on my second rig, I've got my AZEQ6 out, and I've stuck a Sigma 7200 lens on my 2600 whilst I'm waiting for, well, I'm debating what to buy next. I sold my Edge HD8 earlier in, it was a week ago today actually. A friend of mine who I know wanted it, so he came over and picked it up. He already has an Edge HD8, but he's broken it, and he has a Hyperstar on it, so he wanted a new one, and they're quite difficult to get hold of, obviously brand new, and he knows I look after my stuff, so he came over, gave me some cash, and I'm looking for a second refractor. But today in the village we've had really bad storms in the UK, so we've got some fences in the back garden. They've been blown, well, they've been supported by the trees in the next door's garden. We've had up to 80-mile-per-hour winds, and the village where I live, half of the village was without electricity until about 10 p.m. tonight. Luckily we only lost it for about an hour earlier in the day. So anyway, I've bolted together that Frankenstein, and I've stuck it on this EQ6, AZEQ6, and what I'm doing is I'm using this program called Star Trek. One of the things it can track are near-Earth asteroids. So I've pointed it at the brightest one I can find that is at a decent elevation. I'm taking 2-minute exposures, which is on here. This is it here on my second rig in green. And I am going to blink test them to see if we can see an asteroid. I'm quite excited. I'm more excited than this. But to do that blink test, I will have to cancel this live stack. I can just start it going again, I suppose. So we're past the meridian tonight. No meridian flips to worry about. It's a good question, Ollie. So right now I've got the ESPRIT. I love the ESPRIT. It's a manageable focal length, more than manageable. So 550mm f5. I'm either going to go slightly higher, something like the ESPRIT 120 at 840mm. I can't really push to the ESPRIT 150 at, is it 1000mm or 900 and something mil? That's just far too expensive for the budget I've got. The other side of me wants to go, well, do I want to go a bit more wide field and go down to something like get a 300mm refractor? Not necessarily a red cap, but in that sort of focal range. Luke's trying to we had a chat a couple of weeks ago, and he said, well, when you get rid of your Edge HD, why not get one of the Sharpstar f2.8 Newtonians? And it's like, that is a very fast scope, and it's within the sort of price I could probably push to. But I'm a refractor man. I like lenses. I don't know whether I can, well, I know I learned how to collimate my Edge HD, and collimating a Newtonian is potentially even easier with laser collimation. So whether I want that hassle, I haven't ruled it out. I've been looking at reviews, and it does look an incredibly fast scope, and it's around the sort of range focal focal length that I'd be looking for. So it could reduce my imaging time down dramatically. So we have started an autofocus. Let's have a look. How many subs have we into our asteroid hunting? We've got 11. I'm going to copy them over and do a blink test. I'll let them copy over. Just check this autofocus goes okay. I'm sure it will. That will have added another sub into this live stack. Yeah, so we've got 11 in there now. I wish I could start a second instance of PixInsight, but I'm 99% sure it does not let me do it. No, it doesn't. Yes, some nice data coming through. It's the first time I've really imaged this. I've got a terrible image from back in 2018, I think, where I was just messing around one night looking for targets, not really putting any time in it. It looks awful. So quite pleased with the data we're getting through here so far. I was talking to Logan earlier, and you know, it's for 550 mil. It's a large target to get in, but I've got most of it in. But the other thing I've done is I've positioned, if you want to call this its head, up at the top of the frame, because I noticed that there was nebulosity far below. So I didn't want this in the middle, because I think I'd lose out on some of the finer data down here, which is starting to come through. So that's the reason why it's positioned at that frame angle. Stop clicking that. Yes, it's they are very nice to look at. Obviously, they're going to start disappearing out of our sky shortly as we approach galaxy season. That's another reason I'm thinking maybe to go a higher focal length. There's only so many galaxies. You obviously got M31, which fits in quite anything about 500 mil and below. You're going to get Andromeda well framed. You've got the Triangulum, which again is another large galaxy, but then you're starting to get into the smaller ones. Whirlpool. Without a decent focal length, they become, well, you could drizzle it and then upscale it with drizzle integration, but yeah, challenging at 500 mil. So that's sort of pushing me towards the 800 mil. Otherwise, I'm going to have I'll still have some targets to image this year, but yeah, the Star Trek software is there's a free version available, but the guy just literally wants $10 to register it. It's at heavenscape.com. You should get to it from there. I'm pretty sure if I take off that updates. Yeah, heavenscape.com. And as I say, the guy who originally wrote it to track satellites, particularly the ISS, which I did a video on, using it to leapfrog the ISS, allow it to pass through the frame, take your images, leapfrog the ISS, pass through the frame. He actually has changed it now that you can actually track the ISS. If your mount supports various commands, it can almost track it in real time as well. I've never tried it yet. Every time it seems to pass, I'm either not set up. But anyway, I digress. He's added all sorts of things here. There's comets, I did actually have. We might have a look, see if there's any comments that we could actually see. But look at this magnitude. They're very, 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 very dim. So I went for this asteroid. Whether we'll see it at magnitude 15, I do not know. Bring back that image. Whilst I've been rabbiting on, it's taken a few more of these, so I may as well put those into the blink test that we're going to do. There. So we've got 14 images. I'm going to stop this live stack. Now we're going to blink. This could be a damp squib, this. Let's see if we can see the asteroid. I'll try and make it as big as I can. Can't see the microphone. I can't see anything. I'm not sure how much it would have moved in the we've got 40 in the 28 minutes that I've taken the images over. I don't know. I started it off, the coordinates were in the middle of the screen, but it could be just too dim at magnitude 14. Magnitude 15, sorry. I can't see anything. I'll keep them going. Probably people having a seizure looking at that now. Apologies. I wonder what comments we've got. East, 37 degrees east. Magnitude 14. Again, I don't think I'm going to be able to see that. What's that magnitude 7 one there? Oh, right. Elevation 0. Useful. Well, there's one there. I'm pretty sure I've heard of this one. 67p Churum. Magnitude 12. South. It says 2019 L3 Atlas as well. 57 degrees, 12.1 southwest. Ooh. But at 200 millimeters, I'm probably not going to be able to see that one. I'll let this take another. I'll let it get to 20, and then I'm going to try and salute to this comet and see if we see one of these. That 65-degree one, that will be quite high up. Whilst that's doing that, I will just start the live stack again. I've only ever seen the Starlinks once, and I wasn't looking out for them. I literally just went into my back garden one night and just saw them. To be honest, they haven't caused me personally any issues whatsoever. In fact, I don't know why, but I'm sure in 19, I used to get satellites bombing my pictures every other couple of frames. I very rarely seen any of them. Whether they're still there, or maybe it's just good timing and good luck, but you'll watch that now. We'll probably get one in the next 2 or 3 frames. I'm just waiting for this stack to finish, and I'm going to point it at the folder that these I actually took the other night, which I didn't. Well, it was after I'd done the last stream, so these are now tonight's. I mean, as long as you've got enough subs, you can always, they're easily processed out. PixInsight, which I use for my stacking, does a really good job of any removal. But I'll say that I haven't had that many recently. Right, I'm going to stop this one. I'm going to change this to Comet in case we... no slew. So what I'm going to do... I'm going to use this one and we're going to slew to this. So it's a magnitude 12 Comet south. You should be able to just hit slew in here. Should see my rig moving. Well, bit of a boo-boo. I wasn't watching it. They are very close together, my rigs, at the moment. Usually if it says red, it means it's not visible. That's still slewing. Oh, it's still slewing, that's why. Okay. Well, that's pretty much straight up in the air. Let's take a quick 15-second exposure. Well, I think that's it. Yep, there it is. I'm pretty sure that is the comet. Right, okay. That's at 200 millimeters as well, so I'm very, very not zoomed in, but that's what this rig is currently doing. Let's take some pictures of that and watch it move. We should be able to see that move. I would think so. Yeah, it is a blob, yeah. I literally only did... let's have a look. Let's go for 108 second subs. We don't want to center, we don't want to rotate. Go. At 500 mil, it might look a little bit better. Plus, ignore my stars. My Sigma lens isn't playing properly tonight, but you can hopefully see something there. We'll see that was only literally a 15-second exposure. So let's see what we get with 3 minutes. Yeah, so it's a nice little tool, this Star Track. As I say, I've used it to track the ISS, and I've attempted once to track it, and it did work. It went through my field of view in SharpCap, but I had the exposure settings all wrong. So I ended up with just a white blob. I overexposed it. What you can do in here is when the ISS comes over, what you can do is you go to this leapfrog option and you say leapfrog. You can do it with any satellite that it has. You can say leapfrog 10 seconds ahead, so it basically slews 10 seconds in front of where it knows the ISS is about to pass. Go through the frame, take the images. In SharpCap, you'll be just capturing all the time. Then it'll slew again 10 seconds ahead, let it pass through the frame. But you can also, you added in a newer version, this start satellite tracking. You can actually try and keep it in your field of view as you take images. And when you go over to your mount here, as long as most of these say the function of ASCOM, if it's capable, yes, you'll see that it tells you what it needs to be able to support to use his software. All these are bog standard ASCOM, so if your mount doesn't support these, then I'll be very, very surprised. But yeah, it's cool stuff. We'll do a few on this Churyumov Harasimaneko, and then we'll go to Atlas. This sounds, I don't know why, it sounds bigger and better. Although that in distance, in astronomical units, it's a lot further out, if I'm understanding that right. That's basically saying it's 0.6 astronomical units away, whereas I believe this is saying it's 2.6 astronomical units away, so a lot further away. So we've probably picked the best one. Please correct me if I'm wrong with that assumption. Night, Simon's Astro, thank you for coming. I do appreciate it, really do. So take care, buddy, and catch you again. Oxyz, no, this is with the comet hunting is on. It's my Sigma 70-200mm lens. It's basically, I posted a picture on the channel earlier. It's a fantastic terrestrial lens. f2.8. It's pin sharp. It's one of these basically with a 2600 attached to it. So I was planning on taking some different images tonight, but we're using it for comet hunting. If I get chance, if this turns into more excitement than I can handle, I might just pause the imaging on the Seagull and point it at the comet. Excuse me, we have 12 images in the stack, so we have 2 hours of integration. Looking good. I think I saw someone today that said this looks more like a parakeet than a seagull, and I've got to agree. It does look a little bit more parakeety than a seagull's head. Well, certainly a British seagull. A seagull we find in mainland UK, nicking your chips. We've just gone past midnight. We've got a minute left on that first sub at 300 secs, so it'll be interesting to see I don't know how much YouTube will see, but hopefully there is a tail there I can see there. So we'll see what 300 seconds gives us. I'm not sure if I got the Star Trek software. I'm pretty sure I have actually. Yeah, I do have it on this rig as well. Just let me get it ready in case I decide to just pause that Seagull. So what I've got to do is download the latest satellite file. Economical objects. It was that one, wasn't it? Yeah. We will see. That. Oh, right, okay. We're into a meridian flip on the other mount. Have we lost? Just as the exciting time arrived, it decides to do... Right. No idea what's going on here. I'm hoping that's some trees. That. Let me cancel that sequence. Take a 15-second exposure, make sure, because I can't quite see on my camera where my scope's pointing now. Something's gone wrong here. You can see where the scope is now. It's completely in the wrong position. Ooh. Just literally saw a shooting star on the field of view. You should see a shooting star. A meteor. I think the meridian flipped. The scope was pointing basically almost at the ground. Another thing to running two rigs. Yeah, but there's the comet still. I don't know if you saw it, but literally as I was looking at where my scope was, I did see a meteor in the field of view just to the right of those trees. I'll check it back on the playback. What time was that? So 30 minutes past midnight. We'll try again with this image. You can definitely see the comet there, and it does have a tail. Meantime, we have another exposure into the stack. So not stacked. Okay, what have we just done? Oh, okay, we've gone over to a different day, that's why. I was wondering why the stack has stopped and didn't pick up that thing, but the way I structure my folders is I go by date and then the target, so we're now into a different day. So it should pick that new sub PM 13 now. That'll stack in there in a sec. You saw it also. Oh, good. I was thinking my eyes were deceiving me. Right, just going to do my OCD quick rundown. Cooler power 20%, chip temperature good, meridian no, because we've passed it. Temperature a whopping 3.8 degrees, humidity is good, dew point still at 0.3. HFR stopped being measured for some reason. I think it's an annoying thing. It only shows the HFR down there if you've toggled on the HFR view, which doesn't appear to be working right now. Don't know why. Means I can't check the HFR myself. Guiding is okay-ish, 83, few corrections, all good. Back to comet hunting. Right, do not do a flip. Ten seconds. Here it comes. Let's have a look. Well, I have to say, the 15-second exposure had about the same amount of data as the 3-minute one. In terms of the definition of the comet. Oh, I'm so tempted to point my ESPRIT at it. I'd have to change filters to luminance. Well, in fact, we're about to change filters because we're on the last one. Okay, what I'll do. I'm going to pause the sequence after this 14th exposure on HA because we're about to change filters. So at least I can cut off my HA and say, right, got what I needed for tonight. I'm going to change to luminance and I'm going to slew to the same target we're pointing at and see what definition we get with a proper telescope and a proper, and a decent camera. I know I said a proper camera, but they're both proper cameras. We should get a better field of view on that comet. 200 to 400 should be more defined, but we'll see. This thing's better in focus as well than my Sigma lens. And then once I've had a play with the comet on the ESPRIT, I'll come back to the Seagull. Let's have a look what that stacked image looks like. So 13 images, 2 hours 10 minutes. Looking good. So we're due to get some more of this storm. I think it's called Storm Malik, is it? We got absolutely battered by it today. Winds more than anything, but they've done a lot of damage. Yeah, unfortunately, some people have died as well, which is not a good thing to hear. We lost the electricity in the village for 12 hours. Luckily, only parts of the village lost it, but it was like the majority of it. We live off just like in a cul-de-sac off the main road, and we seem to be not affected. We lost the power for about an hour rather than 12 hours. Two of the panels in our back fence, if in fact we can't see them, but to the left of the picture on the where the scopes are now, they're literally just propped up against the neighbours' trees. They've just been battered. And then we had a pylon live wire in a field come down. Literally buzzing around, arcing all over the place. So yeah. But when I looked on just up from me towards Tyneside and Northumbria, they've had it even worse. You have electricity above ground. Yes, it is above ground. I imagine some of it is underground, but we have the UK scattered with pylons that carry a lot of the stuff from substations. Yeah, the big ones. Yeah, yeah. The one in the backfield, just about well, probably about 200 meters from me, was one of these. It was one of the wires off one of these came down. So yeah, wasn't good. No, they're not. They're not wooden. They're the iron tower ones. Different types of structures. We still have wooden telegraph poles well, certainly our village does. So to carry the phone signal, there is certainly some wooden poles for that around. Yeah, the wind today's been horrendous. So done a lot of damage in the UK today. Well, certainly in the northern Scotland had it worse than down into northern England. So and it's looking like it's going to pick back up tomorrow night, from what I can see. So literally this morning we had 60, 70 mile per hour gusts in the village. Right now it's gone down to about 8 miles per hour. But it's taken all day for it to sort of get down to that. I literally thought I wasn't going to be imaging tonight. Mainly because of the wind, and also because, well, if the village lost its power, I was worried that we would potentially lose ours as well. So when this final HA sub has come in, I'm pausing the sequence and I'm going to slew to this comet and see what the ESPRIT makes of it. What's that with the rig doing? Okay, we've got a few. I wonder if it'll don't know how long it'll take to show movement. Okay, 10 seconds. Right, sequence is paused. It's changed the filter to a thing, but I'm going to change it to luminance. I do need to keep an eye on. Turn on the near IR. Or do anything. I'm just going to save this sequence. Right, what do we need to do? We want to slew to this. Oh, I haven't connected. I haven't connected my mount. I'll turn that IR off. Okay. Let's have a quick look. We'll just take a 15-second exposure again. Hopefully. We've literally got both rigs now pointing at the comet. Watch this be... wow. Ah, bloody filters on HA. That's set to HA. Right, okay, we're out of focus. But you can see, let me run an autofocus. Don't change filters. Yeah, there's definitely something there that looks better than the 200mm. I'm not going to stay too long on this because I don't want to lose too much time. Your Ascot and Edmund setup video is still my go-to. I'm presuming you mean Ascom. Spike 007. Oh, that's way. Looks like when I did that manual slew, Nina obviously went, what's happened? So it didn't tell PhD2, which it wouldn't have done. It needs to start re-guiding. I've just done that manually. Ooh. I hope that gets better. I appreciate that, those comments, Mike. It does mean a lot. I am a keen advocate of, and again, I don't profess to be anywhere near an expert, but if I can help anybody who's interested in the hobby get a head start on sometimes what can appear to be quite complicated subject matter. I think all those red things are coming back down. How's this one doing? How many images have we got? 7 in there. Wonder if it'll show it moving. 7, possibly. This software here, Spike. No, this is just Nina. There's I was going to make a learning Nina video, but there are already some great videos out there by Quiv the Lazy Geek, Patriot Astro, to name a few, who have done some great Nina tutorials. I've got a whole list of videos that I just need to do, but I end up not having the time, because I'm sure Ollie will attest to this, and probably Logan, who I know, who are both YouTubers, is that what might appear to be a quick 4 or 5 minute video takes sometimes an awful lot of time to, 1, film, 2, then produce. I'm rubbish at talking in front of the camera, make so many mistakes, and you either accept the mistake and just carry on, or you retake it because you want to sound like you know what you're talking about without stumbling. So you can spend hours and hours doing one scene. Then of course people like to sometimes script it beforehand rather than doing it freehand. So it's a lot of time and effort to put in. Yeah, Spike. I started with Canon Backyard EOS way back, and then moved to APT. Then I went to SGP, and now I'm at Nina, and I can't see myself going back. The fact that it's just been onwardly developed, we've got the plug-in stuff, which is some crazy plug-in stuff coming out from the community. It's fantastic. I won't say this is a learning curve. If you've used anything like SGP or APT, fundamentally you've got the same features in here. It's just a case of working out where they are and how to do things. It's right. We have hopefully autofocused. Wow, you can see it here. I can see there's quite a big tail on this guy. That's only a 15-second exposure, and look, we had a satellite bomb, what we were talking about earlier. Let's quick vote from the 6 of you. Should we take some pictures of this comet, or should we go back to the Horsehead? I'm voting for the comet for at least 5 minutes. Let me create a new... Oh, I didn't want to do that. Boop. It's the quickest way I could do this. Comet. I'm just going to do this just to frig it. I'm just going to say comet. Like this one, I'm just going to save, close that down, comet, start guiding. Yeah, don't need to slew because I'm already pointing at it. Don't need to autofocus. Let's do, if that 15-second, let's do 60, one of, let's see what 120 gives us. Let's do 180, 240. Let's do 3 minutes. Don't need to dither. Just quickly check. Start guiding, yeah. Slew, no. Target is called Comet, because I can't bother typing in whatever its name is. Nothing's on. Right, go. Why is it autofocusing? because I'm an idiot. Oh, bugger, 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 bugger. Are you going to stop? I don't know what happened to that. I've no idea where my telescope is pointing now. That was my mistake. Just let me check. Luminance. It's going to be out of focus, but I'll be able to see if I've ended up pointing it. Bloody hell. That's because I was rushing. I think it's still there in the centre of the frame. Don't know what's happened there with this. Start guiding slew, no. I'm now going to have to tell it to start. $120 luminance. Don't need to do that. Okay, go on then. We'll go for a 600-second one as well. Right, I will have to autofocus now. I need to call this Comet. Start guiding, slew to target, don't do. Why have you done that? I'm an idiot. I think the vote's for the Comet, but I'm messing it up dramatically. It's because I've basically hijacked an existing sequence without. I should have just basically created a new one from scratch. But hopefully we're sorted now. We just have to go through a refocus. You should see it. You can see it there, even in the out of focus. Is there? I'm going to ask any of the astrophotographers in the chat. Have you ever, apart from the, I'll say the famous ones like Atlas and Neowise and Leonard, have you just photographed a random comet before? I certainly haven't. I went out and did Neowise when that was in our sky. That was unbelievable thing to see. I went from my house in just north of York to a place called Whitby, which is on the east coast. And as I was driving over the North Yorkshire moors, which is where you get to Whitby from where I live, I could literally see the comet with my naked eye in the sky. It was that bright. So yeah, apart from Neowise, I've not taken any pictures of any other comet, especially not just random ones that I've found in a program. No, thank you, Spike. Thanks for coming. I do appreciate it. You know, I say every week, every stream, I don't expect anybody to watch some old bloke from the UK taking some pictures and making a mess of things like he just has done today. So, no, thank you. That went way. I know why. I know why it's done that. Because I stopped the autofocus and it's probably then stepped it back out even further. I used to go to Whitby as a kid and eat rock. Yeah. Not random, but we had the Swan also down here. Yeah, Leonard had quite an amazing detailed tail. It was very low for what when I looked at imaging Leonard, it was so low for me. It just wasn't an option. So sadly missed, but this should be starting to show. Yeah, you can see it here now. Obviously, these are the autofocus exposures, but you can see the comet's tail. I think it goes up to about here. Probably very hard to see, but hopefully, if I haven't messed up the exposures, we'll see what a 60, 120, 180, 240, 300 second sub give. And then what I might do is call it a night for you guys. We'll have a go at the comet, then I'll move back to the Seagull. But this is going to take what? 1 minute, 3 minutes, 6 minutes. About 20 minutes to do all this lot. In fact, tells you there, look, 90 minutes 25. How's my other little thing doing? I'm just going to see if you can see it moving. Oh, doesn't exist. I'm in there. Got this live stack again. So this is from the second rig at 200 mils, just while we're doing the other one. I'll see if I can make that. Can't see because I'm monitoring it. I'll have to do. Oh, you can see it moving. Okay. We'll see what we get from the proper rig. So it's actually started the first sequence. So 60-second exposures, we're only doing one of them. That's a 15-second exposure. We're back on track. We're back on track. No, Greg, basically what happened is I aborted an autofocus earlier. So it actually goes out the right amount of steps. But because I'd basically aborted it in the middle of it stepping out already, it effectively went almost like 1.5 times out further than what it should have done normally. Okay, that's the first sub in of this random comet. That file should appear here any second now. Let's super stretch it. No, bad idea. Yes, that's 60 seconds. Yeah, I probably realised that you had just appeared, and when I saw the autofocus go out to like HFR of whatever it was, 18, it normally goes out to about 9 or 10, and it's because I was fumbling around. We were basically shooting the Seagull Nebula, and then I did some comet hunting on my second rig and decided I can see something there, so let's point something a bit more beefy at it, such as my ESPRIT 500mm, and I hijacked the sequence I was using, which I shouldn't have done. So the next image should be 120 seconds. I'm not sure we'll see much difference, to be honest. Ten seconds away. Okay, that's 120 seconds. So I don't know if you can see, because I don't know what YouTube's doing to my video. I haven't got the greatest up. Let's see, the comet's body is here, and the tail looks to finish at about here. Can't draw a line, but very faint up here. But I can see. You can just sort of see the difference in the pixels either side there. This is a random comet that I like this software called Sky Tracker, written by a guy who wrote it to track satellites, but then he's added all sorts of things in there, near-Earth asteroids, which we tried earlier, and comets. And I just said, show me all comets above a certain magnitude, and the first ones that hit were these. So it's 67p Churyumov-Gerasimenko. I'm just going to call it 67p. So nice elevation, 65 degrees. Distance, well, it's the closest of all three or four, and a decent magnitude, and in the southern sky. So it just went, yeah, all meets my needs. So I'm facing south. Can't see much in the north because the house is in the way. And what I did was, we just imaged it on this second rig, which has only got a 200mm camera lens basically on this. We could see it, and I was surprised. I was like, okay, never gone for random comets before. You could literally see this little blob here. I was like, let's just point the ESPRIT at it and see what we get. Well, I might. No, me neither, Greg. I never got a chance at Leonard. We were just talking before you joined. I managed to get Neowise, a couple of decent. Thank you, Logan, very much for coming. I do appreciate it, mate. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm subscribed to your channel as well, so enjoy watching your stuff, as well as Ollie as well. Ollie, what's your autofocus seconds like on the Sessa sensor? I've heard that they are very good quality. I'm super impressed with it. I worked out my step size using name's gone out of my head. Amy Astro's step size video, where you apply some mathematics and use a website to work out what your critical focus zone lies based on your filters that you use. I was using 450 steps, which sounds a lot, but the Sesta Senso, when it extends my ESPRIT tube out, has over 100,000 steps. It's 0.7 microns per step movement, so it's incredibly precise, and I literally have no backlash in it. I never have done. I've got two of them. I've got one for my other rig when, well, what was my HD rig. So I'll be putting the other sensor on whatever replaces that. It's just been. There's one fault it's had. Now I'm going to say there's two faults it's had. Until a recent firmware, I say recent, probably about a year ago. Sometimes one time in every 10 when you turned it on, it basically would say that the current position is 0. It would have forgotten where its last position was, which it's not meant to do that, so you had to recalibrate it. That was one fault. And then the second fault I've had with it is, I don't know if this is a Nina or an Ascom fault. When you go into your equipment, I've had it occasionally where it will say is moving is true, and it's not. And no matter what you do, disconnecting it, reconnecting it, it'll just say is moving is true. And when the autofocus kicks in, it doesn't autofocus. End up having to pull the plug out of it and plug it back in. But apart from that, that's happened once. It's been great. Ah, Luke, hello. Good to see you. We've digressed. We were meant to be imaging the Seagull Nebula, and then I've just been fiddling around in this program I use called SkyTrack, and saw that there were some comets that were visible, decent magnitude, decent elevation. So I just thought I'd stick it at and see what we got. So that's a 180-second sub that's just finished on that one. Let's see how much. Yeah, not much difference, but I just thought I don't know. I got lured into, ooh, this looks interesting. Let's point it at something. Yeah, Greg, it's definitely it's a great video on how to work out your step size. I mean, there's varieties of ways of doing it, but it is almost like a scientific way of doing it, and it worked out great for me. This is just 550 mil. It's an ESPRIT 100 ED, so it's a f5 100 millimeter 550 mil focal length. So I've not seen much difference between. Well, let's have a look. Let's blink test them. Wonder how much it's moved. Where's blink gone? Only 3. Well, focus is a different exposure lens. I'm going to take a guess at. Apologies if anybody's collapsed in a heap over that flashing screen. Let's look at what 240 seconds looks like. Okay, there's a bit more data there. Do you know what? I'm going to put something like this down on my stuff of targets to shoot just as a change. Make a little video of it. I've no idea what focal length, what exposure times comets are good for. Obviously, this is quite bright here already at 240 seconds, but when I took my pictures of Neowise, I was just literally using a DSLR and a lens on the side of a hill. So trying to get the lights of Whitby in the early hours of the morning in it, but Greg, you're shooting at 1250 mil, so Unreal is finally like, yeah, that would be probably I'm going to guess at well, if that's 550 mil, I'm going to guess it's going to be something like that in there. Where have we got to? Go along. Yeah, I've just literally, Luke, together a quick sequence, 60 seconds to 300 seconds, and then I'm going to go back to the Seagull. Just wanted to see what it was like, because we on my second rig I've got running, which isn't doing that great, to be honest. I've just got a Sigma 7200 lens on here, and when I stuck it towards the comet, I could see, oh, there is at 200 mil, there is something there. So let's point the big boy at it. But I am going to go back to the Seagull very shortly. What's it with 300 second? Well, yeah, I originally started off by going, I would see if I could get an asteroid. But the best magnitudes I could find, yeah, we're at 15. So I think I went for something. I think it was this one. I just can't see that. Obviously, we've no idea how big it is. It could be the size of a bloody tennis ball. So I tried just doing that, and I clicked on the comments, did a quick refresh, and said, "Show me what's available now." And it's like 12 magnitudes. This is quite close in terms of distance. Let's give it a go. No, I didn't, Greg. No, I did read. There was a few people who were interested in doing that. So we don't, mate. It's something I'm now that potentially I might go comet and asteroid hunting. I need to check what my max that I can see is. Based on that thing I talked to you about the other night about I'd use PixInsight to plate solve my frame and show me the asteroids that were in the field of view. All of them were magnitude 19 or 20 or 21, and it told me where they were, but there was no illuminated pixels around that area. So I know that that's way, way, way too far out for my 10-minute subs at the moment. And 12 here looks bright. So I'll have to do some. It should be quite easy to work out. What this is here, is this like a little nebula in the field of view? Looks like it. Very, very small nebula. Thoughts? That does look like something. I'll have to check it in Stellarium or something. Okay, that is the last sub on the comet. Let's have a quick look. 300 seconds. Is that little nebula? It is on, yeah. Yeah, might have to look at what this guy is. Oh, there as well, even fainter. Right, okay, let's. Yeah, yeah, it could be a galaxy as well. It's. I wonder if. I'm pretty sure. That's where that is at the moment. Do we think it's this? UFO Galaxy. Never heard of it. The Hogarth Galaxy. I like it. I reckon it could be that. It's the wrong shape. However, yeah, I'll explain about that in a second, Greg. So let me just get back on and get my sequence running for yeah, a little bit of fun doing a comet. So just let me check these settings before we go. Start guiding, yes. Slew. I am going to say yes. 5 minutes. Just going to illuminate my... Oh, it's getting very low now. Yeah, so basically the reason you've got the bars on there is my monitor I use is a ultra wide monitor. So even though it's 4K, technically it's not a 4K resolution. It's I think it's now too low. It's 3440 by 1440. So because it's ultra wide, it basically, when in the streaming software I use called OBS, it has to pad out when I stream at even if I stream at 1080p, it will end up with black bars. So the only way I can fix that is to get a, in quotes, standard size monitor. Not sure what's happening here with this sub. It says it's okay. It looks a little bit odd. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. Oh, why is it doing that? Yeah, so because that's my display resolution, 3440 by 1440, you'll end up with a weird resolution when I stream. I have tried to look into to see if I can. The best I could get it was to stream it at 1920 by 1080, but it basically compressed the image so everything looked a little bit squashed, but would be the correct resolution for you guys. So I just elected to stick with the black bars, and the other option I could get is to buy a second monitor, which would be a traditional size, but I've got nowhere to put it. But I could do that, and basically, if I told it to output that monitor into the stream, it would be would look normal. So whilst we're doing that, I'm going to go back and for the third or fourth time tonight, I'm going to start live stacking what we've got so far on The lovely Seagull Nebula. So that's one frame. I'll certainly look into it. I can't be the only streamer who's got an ultra wide and trying to do it all on one screen. I'll potentially have a look tomorrow. Yeah, man, it's one frame. Hasn't said anything yet. That's literally what we got. We've got 4 frames coming in. You won't see the stacked image until some folders to add to it then as well. Let's have a look. 4 or 5. Should be popping any second now. There we go. Right, so that was night then. Hey, no worries, Greg. Thanks for stopping by. I do appreciate it. Have a nice lunch in Las Vegas. How many other folders? 10 files in the stack. There's more to come. Let's have a quick look at this. There is a horrible black cast here, which I suspect is the obstruction. You can see almost in my... I'm going to put the IR light on near. You can see literally the hedge that it's pointing towards. I'm 99% sure this black cast here is the hedge obstructing it. That might be the end of that. Let's just see, did I get any more HA? Oh yeah, there would have been the 30th today. The Hedgerow Nebula, yes, that's it. Thanks, mate. The Hedgerow Nebula strikes again. It's such a tall hedge as well. It's not our hedge. It's that garden that is beyond that is a really long garden. Their house is like the other end of the village. It's a massive long garden, but the hedge is like it's about 12 foot high. It obstructs a lot of my south view. You can see right now. Well, it is getting quite low where we are now, but yeah, I suppose I can use that as my reference point. I wish Nina would tell me what degrees this was, so I could use that as a reference. I can work it out. I think I have actually worked it out in the past, but what's gone wrong with my guiding? Oh yeah, there we go. My guiding's gone to pots because this is the hedge that it's pointing at. Okay. Yeah, yes, you're quite right. It does protect the garden a little bit. Um, I may as well abandon this sequence because guiding is kaputted. Check. Yeah, interesting star spike coming through the hole in the hedge, but that is kaput. But okay, that's the result of tonight's stack and the other night's stack. So we've got 14 images. So that's what, 2 hours and 20 minutes in HA. Not looking bad. So it's how much I'll have to see what my target is for this, whether it be a 9 or maybe 3 hours on each channel. I need to check what the other channels look like from some other processed images to see how much effort we need to put into the others. But yeah, it looks nice. And that's with no processing, no darks, no flats, just a raw stack. Okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to thank you all for coming along. It's still crazy that you want to watch some bloke in Yorkshire mess around with his camera and his telescope in his back garden. It blows my mind, really does. I'm going to have to find something else to image because I'm not giving up a clear night, but I'll have to see what is available and carry on until, I'm hoping till maybe 3 o'clock-ish, I think was when I was seeing clouds roll in. So thank you all for joining, and I will catch you next time. And as I said, I really do appreciate every one of you turning up to watch some old bloke faff around. So thank you. I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.